My world is a little different. My name's Eddie Meharg. I'm with Southwest International Trucks dealership. I'm here to talk to you about your truck. I'm not here to tell you how to drive your truck. I want you to know I've got a lot of respect for you guys. What y'all do for a living is tough. I've tried some distance driving, not in a truck, just my personal car. No, it's not for me. Like Dallas to Memphis, is that a bad run?
No.
Try it with your mother and your wife and your sister. That makes it for a long day. Now that was a beating. Now the deal is when I get there, I'm there for a week. You get to Memphis, okay, now you're just going to Nashville and then you're heading up East Coast somewhere. It's an ongoing. So that's the tough thing. So I started working on trucks in '74. I'm a mechanic. They call us technicians now, but basically I started turning wrenches on trucks. Cummins right across the street. And I've been here 20 years. I guess I don't go very far. But what I want to talk to you about is what's under the hood of the truck. The changes that have come out in our industry and what's forced all those changes. Now, how long have you been driving?
Since '98.
So you've seen a lot of changes since '98. That truck you got in '98, how old the truck was? Was it brand new?
I was real. It was practically maybe about 2 years old.
Have a mechanical engine in it? Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then, only thing we needed the battery for was to start it. Once it was running, you could disconnect the batteries, drive all over town. Nowadays, if you disconnect the batteries, how far do you think that truck would go?
It ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere. So many wires and
The
sensors.
computer ain't gonna read. The engine ain't gonna be able to communicate.
Yeah, it ain't gonna run. So what I'm here to do is try to explain to you what's happened, where we went from and how we got here, and how you're involved in all of this. What's the driving force of everything has been the emissions, the EPA. The easiest way I can explain this is to look at the cars. We've seen the changes through the years on those and how painful it was. If I asked you what your favorite car was, what would you pick? Anything on that list? 69 Mustang, Olds 442, Corvette,
F442.
the Camaro, the Judge, the GTO.
Judge is good.
You know what we liked about all these cars?
They had big engines and they roll real fast.
Muscle cars, high horsepower. Every one of these is 500 horsepower. What kind of gas mileage do you think they got?
Maybe about 13.
We didn't care. 69 gas was under a quarter a gallon.
Yeah.
There ain't one there that got 10 miles a gallon. But $10, you can fill it up twice, drive all week long. No big deal. What killed all these cars? Emissions.
Yeah.
When the EPA stepped in and started mandating what the emissions had to be in the gasoline industry, these cars couldn't make it. We learned terms that came out in the '70s. Smart pump, catalytic converter, EGR valve, check engine light. Everything's going electronic to meet emissions that the EPA mandated. It was really tough. As time goes on, this is 1982. I was working at a dealership. We sold Chevrolet and Oldsmobile, Toyota, and Mercedes. This one was on the showroom floor. That's the special edition from 1982, the commemorative edition. This car right here was the highest horsepower American-made sports car. How much horsepower do you think that one had in '82?
I know it ain't 500.
No, it's not 500. The 1982 was the first for crossfire fuel injection, mass-produced fuel injection, boosted the output of the L81 350 cubic inch to 200 horsepower. 200 horsepower, that's all it had? Yeah, that was the high performance. The base model was only 190. If you go back a year, when they still had a carburetor, the carburetor was 230 horsepower. So when they made the change to electronics, it really hit it in the head. So power's gone, fuel economy's bad, but what's happening to gas prices as this is moving on?
Going up.
From '74 on, gas prices start skyrocketing. What caused all those prices to go up so high? EPA steps in to the oil refineries and say, first thing you're going to do is take the lead out. There was a time you could get leaded gasoline and unleaded. Now everything's unleaded. They force them to clean the gasoline up. Oil refineries, what'd they say? That's going to be expensive. EPA says, we don't care what it costs, you got to do it. So here we go. Gas prices are climbing. And we look at the diesel industry, our industry was wide open until 1994. We had no regulations on emissions at all until 1994. EPA stepped in 94 and told every engine manufacturer where they had to be from 1994 all the way to 2010. And every engine manufacturer screamed. They did not have the technology to meet where they were federally mandated to go. So the EPA works a deal. If you exceed a given year's EPA rating, every engine you sell, you will earn credits. And if you come to a year where you stumble and you can't meet that year's emissions, you can use those credits to buy time until your technology catches up and you can meet it. So that's what started in 1994. A lot of people think the EPA was making this up every year along the way. They weren't. In 94, they knew where they had to be all the way to 2010. Every year was a change. So they knew what they had to do. In the world of international, in 94, our first engine that went electronic was our V8. Ford bought a lot of them. Ford was buying 500,000 a year, diesel engines to put in their pickup. They call them a Power Stroke. They were buying the mechanical engine. In 94, that mechanical engine changed to electronic. The old one was a 7.3 liter mechanical. The new one is a T444E, 444 cubic inch electronic engine. 7.3 liters is also 444 cubic inch. So the engines are the same size, just one's mechanical, one's electronic. Which one do you think got better horsepower?
The mechanical.
The mechanical had more horsepower. Which one got better fuel mileage though, the mechanical or the electric?
Electric.
Mechanical.
You did?
Yep. We took a hit on horsepower and fuel economy when they went electronic. The only thing they gained in 94 was emissions. And that engine well exceeded the 1994 level. As time goes by, in 1998, technology is getting better. And then they improved they had control of the fuel and air management now, so they was able to control it better, and now we were getting better fuel economy and power was coming back. We go on to 2002, and that was a major hurdle. 2002, we saw the first EGR valve on a diesel engine. Now, we've seen the EGR valves on cars from 74 all the way up. And in those years when they put the catalytic converter and the EGR valves on the cars, they just killed the horsepower. What does an EGR valve do for you?
I have no idea.
Good answer. Most people don't. Some people think that the biggest myth that it is exhaust gas recirculation. They think the exhaust comes out of the exhaust, goes back to the intake, and we burn it a second time. Well, that's not true. You can't burn it twice. All the oxygen's gone once it's gone through the combustion process. So what we're doing, we're looking for a gas that won't burn, so it will absorb heat. So we can take the exhaust, cool it, reintroduce it in the cylinder and absorb heat, reduce the heat that's created in the combustion process, and reduce NOx emissions. Cars, we're doing the same thing from the 70s all the way up. We did the same thing in 2002. The downside is, if I put any gas in there that won't burn, what does it do to your horsepower? It'll kill your horsepower. If it can't burn, it can't create power, so it's going to rob power from it. So you have to be real careful about your mixture. Now we're using exhaust gas. There's a lot of gases we could use, like nitrogen or argon, any inert gas. But if I use one of those, there'd be another tank. You'd always be having to refill. I got an endless supply of exhaust. So that was the easiest way to do this. But that came out in 2002. As we're moving forward, we hit 2007. 2007, another major change comes to the diesel industry. Now, the mufflers go away. Cars went to a catalytic converter in the 70s. In 2007, diesel trucks went to catalytic converters. Not what they call it, but it's what it is. Diesel particulate filter, a DPF. And in front of it is a diesel oxidation catalyst, a DOC. In 2007, they also put more lights and switches in the dash. That's where they get the driver involved. Now, have you ever been to a class given by Cummins, Caterpillar, Detroit, International, any engine manufacturer on the emission systems and how it operates and how you interface with it? No, not to my knowledge, there's not an engine company out there doing that. And that was sad. That should have happened in 2007. This is 2014. That was 7 years ago. All this time, and there has still not been any education to you about what's going on. We learned new terms. Part 3 gen came out in 2007. Have you ever had to do a Part 3 gen?
It was on the last truck I had before, but something was wrong with it. Never got a chance to.
Something was wrong with it is
Volvo. I drove a Volvo,
Mhm.
and it had on there. And as you drive, and if that regen come in, you'll see that little white smoke, steam coming out of the pipe.
You shouldn't see anything coming out. You should. If you do, something's wrong. It's broke.
That's why I broke down, because it was steam
We have a
coming
lot of
out.
issues keeping these systems working.
Mhm.
The biggest challenge is the drivers don't understand what's going on. I'll be honest with you, a lot of the technicians don't understand what's going on. They're just flying kind of blind over repairing these trucks because they're still struggling. But that came out in 2007. They should have set you down, showed all this to you so you knew what was going on and what to expect and what to do when certain lights came on. As we go forward in time, we reached 2010. 2010, now we've met EPA rated emissions. Everybody across the board had to do it. Every engine manufacturer,
That's why Caterpillar went out.
with the exception of Caterpillar. Because Caterpillar, in 2007, they drop out. They said they can't meet the emissions, they're not gonna struggle anymore, they're just gonna back out of the truck market. Realistically, where's Caterpillar's income from?
Earth moving equipment.
Yeah, heavy, off-road. Yeah, as far as trucks, that was more of a hobby than anything. So Caterpillar gives up 2007. Looking back in hindsight, they're probably the smartest bunch out there. You seen the new Cat truck?
It looked good.
Yeah.
It looked good.
Where's it built? Is that a Caterpillar, come out of a Caterpillar assembly plant?
Oh, what they built at?
Well, it was built right here in Garland, Texas,
I know
at
the
the
other,
International
other
Assembly
plants out
Plant.
there. I've been in the other plant. I want to say Oklahoma.
In Tulsa, there's a plant, but
Tulsa.
I think they're only doing buses there now.
Okay.
But they were built right here.
Mhm.
That truck that says Cat right across the grill
Mhm.
is a 5000 Series International.